Recently, there's been a lot of chatter suggesting that the beloved Star Wars franchise is on its last legs. With passionate debates, heated online discussions, and a divided fandom, it's easy to see why some might think that the end is near. But is this really the case? In today's essay, we're going to deep dive into why Star Wars is far from over and how the franchise is actually at the brink of a new golden age. So, is Star Wars really dead, or is it just going through a transformation? We're seeing a lot of negativity and division in the fandom, but there's much more to the story. Let's break it down. First up, we have to talk about the Acolyte. Never before has a Star Wars story stirred up so much controversy. Not the special editions, not the prequels, and not even The Last Jedi. The Acolyte sparked some of the ugliest fan battles we've ever seen. One content creator even threatened Wikipedia with a lawsuit, and for the first time since the Disney acquisition, even some of the franchise's most devout defenders started pointing out the issues that they had with the show. Why all the fuss? Well, the show's fresh narrative choices clashed with the expectations of some of the fans, and the diversity of its cast and creators was a crutch for the toxic haters. Here's where we see an important shift in the Star Wars universe. The franchise is beginning to reflect the new face of its fans. The audience is more diverse than ever and deserves to see itself represented on screen. And while The Acolyte was not a gay story per se, the time frame of the story, the characters, and the production value fell short to a large swath of the fan base. Unfortunately, this allowed the toxic fans an entry point. While some critics argued that the show suffered from bad writing, the critiques from the toxic fandom were clearly influenced by social and political undercurrents. A vocal section of YouTube and other platforms exploited these sentiments, creating clickbait and generating revenue from manufactured outrage. Meanwhile, many fans appreciated the fresh perspective and diverse cast. However, the show's production values, story time frame, and overall execution fell short for a significant portion of the fan base, resulting in poor ratings. Despite the passion of its supporters, The Acolyte ended up being the worst performing Star Wars show on Disney+. And with a $180 million budget, that didn't translate into commercial success. The show's unceremonious cancellation felt like a victory for the anti-Disney Star Wars content creators, and a setback for the underrepresented communities that were finally getting their moment in the spotlight. Division in social media reached a fever pitch, but the average fan, those who will probably never see this video or engage in a Discord argument about Star Wars, simply didn't connect with the show. And that's okay. Why? Because Star Wars needed this moment of reflection. Over the last decade, we've seen a rapid increase in content. 5 movies, 7 seasons of live-action shows, over 200 episodes of animated series, and even a re-release of the non-canon content from the 1980s. And while this is great for the hardcore fans, it's also a lot. Perhaps too much. So what went wrong with The Acolyte? Was it bad timing or something more? Well, the timing was definitely crucial. After years of fan controversies and endless debate, it was clear that the franchise was going to run into a brick wall. It needed a reset. Enter the next wave of Star Wars live-action shows, Skeleton Crew and Andor Season 2. These new shows represent a much-needed reset for Lucasfilm and Disney. Skeleton Crew, with its nostalgic 1980s Spielbergian vibe, targets a younger audience and should offer a refreshing change when it hits TV screens in December 2024. It's a story that captures the adventurous spirit of classic Star Wars, which makes it less likely to be targeted by the more toxic elements of the fandom. And then there's Andor Season 2 coming sometime in 2025. The first season was a standout, praised for its depth, complexity, and quality. It gave us a more mature take on the Star Wars universe, one that explored the gray areas of morality and resistance in a way that resonated with a broad audience. If Season 2 continues this trend, it could be another big win for the franchise, proving that Star Wars can deliver powerful and nuanced storytelling that appeals to both longtime fans and newcomers alike. But the changes don't stop there. There's a noticeable shift back to major motion pictures, where many believe Star Wars truly belongs. A film featuring The Mandalorian and Grogu is in production, slated for release on May 22, 2026. Another film featuring Daisy Ridley's Rey character is also in the works, likely to hit theaters in 2027 at the earliest. This pivot back to the movie-going experience signals a renewed commitment to epic storytelling on the big screen. Additionally, this move is supported by the decision to hold off on Season 2 of Ahsoka until after The Mandalorian and Grogu's filming is completed, pushing its release to 2026 at the earliest. By focusing on fewer but potentially higher impact projects, Disney and Lucasfilm are strategically positioning themselves to bring new energy to the franchise, while giving fans the opportunity to truly miss and anticipate Star Wars content once again. This shift to a less is more strategy seems to align with the lessons learned over the past decade. As hard as it may be to believe, there's little proof that flooding Disney Plus with new Star Wars content directly drives subscriptions or merchandise sales. Disney parks remain packed, and merchandise sales of classic characters and ships continue to thrive, often outperforming the new offerings. So why not slow down? Why not make Star Wars worth waiting for again? The idea is that anticipation can be the greatest marketing tool. By reducing the number of projects to perhaps 2 per year, whether they're movies, live action, or animated shows, Disney is giving fans a chance to build excitement, a sentiment that has been missing for some time. Producing less content can also mean better quality. It's not that the recent Star Wars projects haven't been good, but with fewer projects in the pipeline, storytellers can take the time to build stronger narratives, and effects teams can focus their efforts on creating truly breathtaking visuals. The result? An on-screen experience that not only meets but exceeds the expectations of fans who have cherished this galaxy far, far away for generations. So, is Star Wars dead? Absolutely not. What we're seeing is an evolution. A transformation driven partly by the fan discourse and partly by a strategic pivot from Disney and Lucasfilm. The franchise is embracing change, offering something for every fan, whether it's nostalgic adventures reminiscent of the original trilogy, or more complex, mature stories like Andor, whether it's animation in the form of the Young Jedi Adventures, or books and comics that bring the story to life. While some voices may be profiting from clicks, the franchise itself is making consistent long-term profit. It's adapting, growing, and most importantly, learning from both its successes and its missteps. So there you have it. Star Wars is far from dead. In fact, it's poised to enter a new golden age, one where the franchise balances the big screen with the small, where quality takes precedence over quantity, and where the stories told are worth the wait. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it. Hit that notification bell for more updates on all things Star Wars from the SSW Network.